Hello there, children.
Hey, Chef.
Ooh, call the doctor.
Never thought I'd be sleeping next to a naked man on this trip.
Just do what I'm doing. Just pretend like you're laying next to a nice, soft woman.
What?
I'm just imagining old Mr. Miller here as a nice, tall, blonde...
Oh, God damn it. I want a different partner.
Yeah, well, we did want to get to your book, because we want to be able to let people know, anybody who might not know that you wrote this book. It's so great. It's such a great resource. It has like the way it's written, you really feel like you were there, kind of, and you just feel the camaraderie between everyone, and the just like everyone's excitement and drive to get this huge thing made. And it's really inspiring. And there's so much like good information for aspiring filmmakers, even now. Is there, well, first of all, like, talk about like where people can find your book, because we want people to get it. It's
Yeah.
great.
I mean,
And
right now, I think it's just on Amazon right now. I've had it on,
Okay.
I had a website, totallysweet.com, for like a bunch of years, but I let that go a while ago. So
Mhm.
right now it's just on Amazon.
Okay, cool. So on Amazon, it's called Spiderwinkle. It's the making of Cannibal the Musical. And it's not even just that, it's also just
Filmmaking.
everything that led up
Yeah.
to how their career progressed and everything. It's really cool to read. And it was, since things are so different now with just the way getting yourself out there and networking and everything works so differently now that we're in the age of like social media and stuff. Would you have any, you offer a lot of advice in your book. Is there anything that you would add or change now that, like, with how different things are now?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, that's definitely, like, that book's written as like a time capsule and like a letter sort of to myself, you know, on how to do things. And I think, yeah, obviously things are way different now. You know, people aren't even shooting with film. I mean, just the idea of shooting on film is like it added such a big barrier to everything, you know, and it made everything, because it adds just it, you know, it just, yeah, it's now you can make a movie with your phone, you know, and then we're talking about, you know, shooting with 16mm cameras and doing it right and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, it's a different beast now, you know, for better and for worse, you know. It's kind of my attitude about it, you know. It's like, I mean, for now, like, you know, then it's hard to just make something, you know. Now it's easy to make something, but harder to get noticed, because it's such a bigger, you know, playing field full of more players, because it's just, the medium is so much more accessible now. You know, and so, yeah, so it's like, you know, kids can get started and make noise, and so I love that. But yeah, so I mean, it's just like, it's completely different. It's completely different, yet it's also the similar too. I mean, like, again, it really, like, you can do a lot more just by yourself now than you could before. You know, before it really took, you had to have a team. I think it's still nice to have a team, and if you're able to form a team that can make great content, then you're way more powerful. So I'm pro, you know, having an ensemble and a team, you know, whenever possible. I mean, it just, again, like, that's why I feel blessed to have, like, just gone to CU and had a place that was like, had a conducive, you know, creative playing field to work out of, at an early, you know, as an onset. You know, that's really helpful, just to have like a positive place to do stuff, especially when you're starting out, you know, and trying to like find your voice for any for any medium that you might be working in, whether it's like theater or music or film or I mean, or, you know, any kind of YouTube video now, which is like the platform everybody's launching off of, you know. So and, you know, it's, what's weird is just that, like, some things work great for YouTube, you know, but that might not work, you know, for a certain type of filmmaking also, you know. It's like, so that's what also makes it like trickier now. It's like, which avenue do you pick for like what style of work you have, you know. I think that those are, so yeah, it's like, there's so many different different things. And but for my writing, it's like, again, it's basically, it's definitely like anecdotal. So if you're there's a lot of fun facts in there, like as you say, right, if you're a fan. But then there's also too, there's like, I think there's, as well as filmmaking lessons, just the general life lessons, and those ones kind of hold over,
Yeah.
resonate still today, where some of like, some of the nerdy stuff about 16 mm film might not be as pertinent,
He doesn't know where we're going. Stone him again. Ow, 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 ow.
So I know we only have a few minutes left, so I was just wanting to go over, I have a question about Time Warped, and I have a question about Califari. That's how you say it, right?
Mhm.
Califari. Okay. Well, with Time Warped, I just rewatched it last night. I used to watch it in high school because I had one of those eBay tapes. You get the Trey Parker and Matt Stone rarities on VHS. I had that. But I watched it again last night and I was laughing my ass off at like 4 in the morning watching that. And I was wondering, did they ever give you a reason why they didn't go through with it, or is that just the biz or what?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it was like a 2 year period of time, where there were lots of hills and valleys, but basically we had been going around trying to sell Cannibal the musical, and had lots of people give us like hilarious suggestions of like other projects they thought we should kind of come back with, you know, where it was just sort of like the people, it just felt like a lot of times, that Hollywood executives don't look at like what you're bringing to the table, and they're just asking for like what's at the telling at the top of the box office. So anyway, we found this producer, Pam Brady, who we really loved, and she, had found us through an MTV story. She tracked us down, and we'd started this relationship with her, meeting and going to lunch, and she was just like the coolest woman we've met working in Hollywood. And so and she was crazy enough to say, hey, you guys should do Cannibal the Musical of the Week, like a weekly recurring thing where these guys are just lost every week, and it's like, like Gilligan's Island or something, in the mountains. And we loved that she was responding to actual material that we were presenting, but we were sort of semi-horrified with the idea of being stuck in the mountains, doing these things, just because, what we'd gone through with Cannibal, and, just working in the snow and all that. We were looking for sunnier pastures, literally. And so the idea of the time traveling musical was brought forth, where we could take advantage of Trey's incredible musical comedy talents, and songwriting abilities, and set go to these different places in time with different
Mhm.
settings.
I loved it. I thought it should have not been canceled. I would have
Yeah,
watched that.
so for the first one, so there's two of these, right? There's
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
Aaron and Moses, right? And that was the first one we did, and that was done for nothing on a shoestring budget, I mean, it is like, and it was basically, we kind of that was where we came back, and we basically kind of got the old band back together, of everybody who did Cannibal, and everyone worked for free again, on this one, because it was like not enough to do, and it was like we spent like a long time just trying to even get the deal to happen, and like we had just gotten these entertainment lawyers, and they like did everything they could to just slow things down. Ultimately, it was, I think I write about that in the book.
Yeah,
There's
you do.
lots
Yeah.
of there's just long periods of time where we're waiting for the phone to ring, and literally like couch surfing and like watching talk shows and waiting for the phone to ring. That was like our lifestyle for many months. Um, and and so just to get anything off the ground was a miracle. But then it was like this ultra low budget thing. We weren't making any money. We couldn't pay our crew. Our lawyers are like, you guys are crazy. And we're like, we're gonna do it anyway. And then they're like, okay, you're smart. You know, and so we did the pilot, and we came back and found out, a few months later that it gotten the green light. We were gonna do 6 episodes. We were thrilled, and then a couple more months went by, and then, we got a call back and they're like, it's actually it's going to just be 4 episodes. And then 2 more months go by, and these months are like dog years, like when you're couch surfing, it's like, it's like, it feels like forever. So anyway, it turned out after it being going from 6 episodes, it went all the way back down to one pilot. And it went from this division of Fox called Fox Lab and over to Fox Kids. And we were excited it was going to get picked up by, the kids division, which was very strong at the time. Fox Kids was the #1 network in the early 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was so we got to do this pilot, which was at that point a bummer because we thought we were about to do 6 episodes, and we had 6 episodes all mapped out.
Oh,
And so it came down to which episode should we do. Should we do the one about John Powell, who discovers everything second and ultimately discovers Lake Powell as this big discovery? And we're like, no, it's gonna be too hard to shoot on a river. Shooting on a river is really hard, with like the sound and it is, honestly, it is hard to shoot on a river. So that would have been challenging, but we thought it would be easier to do, 2000 BC, or no, that 10, not 2000, like 10 million BC.
Yeah.
yeah, that one was so hilarious.
Oh God, that
Yeah.
one's
Just
fun.
physical comedy is
Yeah,
so
so
good.
that one, but that one, yeah, and it turned out great, right? But we went through hell to make the second one. Was brutal. It was a especially brutal time for me. But just brutal across the board. Everything about it was just really hard. And then we come back to Los Angeles, to have it judged, and we did the whole cliche thing where you sit behind a glass mirror and you watch a little think tank of people watch your show and then discuss its merits, and whether they like it or not, and so when the focus groups are like, is like 6 to 9 and then like 9 to 11 or something like that were the two groups, and so the younger group it tested well with, but then it's really the girls that were maturing faster, right? Of course. And so they were kind of over the musical thing. They weren't, it wasn't working as well for them, I think, as the boys. And then the older girls just hated it, and they were already on to like Melrose, play Beverly Hills 90210, and they weren't into this, what was like more kids vibe programming for that. But even though we enjoyed that brutality, being ripped on by little kids, it still, we were told it tested well. But that ended up not mattering because Fox Kids was the #1 network and all their shows were crushing it. And they decided they're not picking up any of their pilots. So basically, like, we're in pilot hell, Jeopardy, like, which is, what you hear about. And just like, that's what happens with most pilots, don't make it to TV. But it was at that moment, I was taking a production assistant job. I've been doing all these British TV jobs, and so I took a production assistant job following female bounty hunters around the Bay Area. And then meanwhile, Trey is completely broken. It was Christmas time, and he was bumming out about not having any money for Christmas. And that's when Brian Graydon said, "Hey, how about you do another one of those crappy little Christmas cartoons, and I'll do that, send that out as my card. And here's $2,500 to go make that." And so Trey and Matt went back to Evergreen because that's where their families were. And that's where they met up with Eric Stow, Butters, and basically made Spirit of Christmas. And then, that came out, that first, was sent out as a VHS Christmas card to
right.
a few hundred friends.
Even I have a copy of that.
Yeah.
So would you say that if the pilot hadn't failed, there would be no South Park? Or not that it failed, but if it hadn't.
No, you know what? I mean, yeah, I mean, South Park would not have started then. We would have done this other show for a while. I think South Park would have definitely come out eventually, because, again, it would have just rumbled in the closet,
Yeah.
So I think you would have had both, because like Time Warp was a show too where you know, it's not going to go on for 20 years. Like that show would have gone on for like a few seasons, probably, best, maybe more. You know, I mean, the thing that's a bummer about it is that that's basically like, you know, the things that I was working on the most were like the live action stuff and building that ensemble of players. So that ensemble of players kind of all fell by the wayside, because sadly Trey never decided to do a sequel to Cannibal or a sequel to Orgasmo, you know, because that troop of players was ready. And so I'll say I was disappointed that that never happened, you know, because like Kevin Smith went back and worked with those original casts, and he came out with Clerks 2 and 3, much to the fans' great delight, you know. So, you know, people like Dean Bahar, Andy Kemmler, Stan Sawicki, you know, a bunch of other guys that, you know, helped in creation of those didn't get more work and exposure, or just cool projects, which I think, you know, it's too bad. And so that's sort of like the bummer side of it, you know. But again, also that's just think that's partially too, just because South Park, I mean, plays to Trey's strengths in a way that like suits him as an artist much more perfectly in the lifestyle than live action movies are, because live action movies are really are just much harder, you know. Like you're in South Park, not to say that it's not hard and grueling and there's lots of pressure and all that, but you're in an enclosed office space the whole time, you know. So the only things that can go wrong are things in the office, you know, and technically, but when you're out in the field, there's just everything can go wrong. And like there's lots of personalities, and it's it's more adventurous and harder.
Yeah, that makes
You have
sense.
less control too. That's the other thing. You have less control. I mean, there's so much control over each of those characters, you know, and it's harder to control actors, you know.
Everybody's busy trying to lock up Randy Marsh. Now my wife and I have a dead child and we can't even get any weed to make us feel better.
Did you want to talk about Calipari really quick, or do you
Yeah,
need to get
yeah.
going?
We're it's I have a not a heart out, so it's like nobody's calling me for dinner yet. So
Okay. Well, you have great artwork on that on your website. And did you recently team up with Casa Bonita to do some artwork?
yeah, actually, so yeah, that was super cool. So yeah, with the invention of Casa Bonita, yeah, it was sort of arc. So Califari is, you know, is it's been mostly related to cannabis design, but we're not really sticking to that exactly. And we just launched califaristudios.com to launch kind of our design agency aspect to the business, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, you know, and also even like when the 25th anniversary happened for South Park, you know, um and Matt, I got a call from Crispy from South Park, basically asking about one of the
Oh yeah.
California artists, you know, that Matt had picked out that he loved. So it was really cool to get that artist a job doing the animation, or the 25th anniversary poster. And then and when they were
Oh,
starting Casa Bonita, I basically kind of threw our hat in the ring to see if there's interest in doing, you know, what I call gig art or psychedelic art, for Casa Bonita. And then and there was interest, and so we just created this poster with one of our Califari artists, Matt Lunig, who's awesome. And that poster's now a ski set with Meyer skis and a snowboard. And Califari also makes skateboards, so we've created a whole line of, or not a line, but one special skateboard with its design. And there's a hat and a shirt and the whole thing. So that's been a joy, you know. And so I'm hoping that we get to do more, you know, Casa Bonita limited edition drops, because that's the kind of thing Califari is looking to do. Is just basically we're excited about, you know, art, science, neuroaesthetics, and basically, you know, artistic merchandising and functional art products, and things that just basically give you small bits of happiness on a daily basis, you know. And so and that kind of manifests in a lot of different products. So we've got a lot of stuff up our sleeve for the next year, like from just kind of new merchandise to new wellness products, to helping create immersive artistic spaces. And we're even working with the Italian national pickleball champion, on some wellness promotion. We're sponsoring this guy named Ernesto Russo, and so he's going to be launching into the U.S. National Pickleball Circuit starting in January, and he's like the Italian John McEnroe pickleball. He's this incredible character. So we've got some fun stuff like that we're
Yeah, it's very varied.
for the new year. So
And I know you have some cannibal stuff coming up too. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about that, but
yeah, no, we should definitely talk about it because I'm very excited. It's sort of like we're having our post COVID cannibal resurgence is upon us. So
Ooh.
we've got a new limited edition CD coming out at some point. And the producers of it are adding, little bits of dialogue to intro into the songs, which we didn't do in the original, which is a cool idea.
Oh,
So they're putting a lot of love into that, and that's a limited edition release. And then there's another British Blu-ray DVD that's coming out. That's going to have some new special features on it, and I think there's even a US new DVD that's in
hope
the
so.
works as well.
are we getting a Blu-ray in the
coming out.
US? I'm
What's
sorry.
that?
I said,
You
are we
said,
getting
yeah.
the Blu-ray in the US?
Well, so the Blu-ray, I mean, the British DVD is going to be released online. It's going to be to British format,
Mhm.
and released for that region. But it being the days of the internet, I'm sure it'll find its way elsewhere outside of the region. And then there's going to be another one released for the US. And I don't know as much about that. They haven't reached out to us yet for the production of that. But we did do some special features, I mean, like I recorded another audio commentary for it, which I'm not plugging because nothing's gonna live up to the original audio
Oh yeah.
commentary, which we talk
Yeah.
about.
You didn't
So
get drunk first?
no, exactly. So if you want to hear like a boring audio commentary, that's like, factual and just, me talking in a monotone voice and not,
That I'm all about the monotone voice, man.
yeah, I'm not like, I don't know that, I mean, I'll just say, like I've said this before, the original Cannibal audio commentary is like the one thing I'd hope my mom never listens to. And I think I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm just gonna dust that off anytime soon. But yeah, that's insane. So but yeah, so no, and there's even right now there's a live action cannibal stage play happening in Australia, or it just happened last weekend, I think.
Oh.
And I know there's another one coming, I think, in North Hollywood in the spring.
Oh, that's my
Um,
town. Okay.
there you go. All right, we'll see you there.
I'll look out for that.
It's
Yeah.
not
Oh
my
yeah, so
town.
I haven't gotten the details, but I know we approved the licensing for that a while back, and so I don't know anything about that troupe or anything, but we've had some pretty solid LA productions in the past. And I think you're gonna see more Cannibal live shows again. It's sort of like amateur theater and more cult theater stuff took a while to kind of come back, but I sort of see it coming back now in 2024. So I think even the guys from the Evil Dead Canadian guys are even working on their version of Cannibal again too, which was the most amazing version of Cannibal we've had for the stage ever. So
Wow.
I'm hopeful that those guys are going to be coming back too, because I just can't wait for me to see that version. It's the most spadoinkle version ever.
Oh
So,
man, that's a lot of exciting stuff.
fingers crossed for that one. So
That's
we'll see.
exciting. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
lots of stuff
yeah.
to look out for.
Yeah. Lots of stuff. Even Electric Apricot is. We did like a up-res for that.
Okay.
And I don't know if the up-res made it on Amazon. It made it to other platforms that it's on. And there might be an Electric Apricot vinyl release at some point, or there's been musings of that. I can't make any hard promises. We've been trying to get that band back together forever, and it hasn't happened, but never say never. So
Yeah.
never. So
Well, I know you got to go. I just want to thank you for joining us so much. This has been awesome. Great experience.
Yeah.
And I know Sarah feels the same way.
cool.
Thank you so much for
Yes.
taking the time.
My pleasure, guys. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
it was great to see you again. And yeah, looking forward to all the stuff
Yeah.
that's
Oh
coming
yeah,
out.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Likewise.
All right.
We'll see. We'll see at the show. We'll see at the show in the spring then.
Yes,
Okay,
I'll be
yeah.
there.
She'll be there. I can't be there. I'm in Missouri.
You're in Missouri? All right.
In
Well, maybe
misery. Misery.
well, maybe there'll be some Missouri productions.
I
Damn it.
hope so. That'd be great.
It would be. I agree. I agree. But meantime, Sarah and I will hang out in North Hollywood together. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
make me all jealous.
We'll take a selfie
right.
and send it to you.
All right. That'll make me
There-
even more jealous.
we go.
All right. Well, happy holidays. Thanks again.
Have a
Right on.
spadoinkle night.
Thank you.
All right,
Keep the
thank
show
you.
going. Thank you guys.
All right,
Cheers.
bye.
Thanks. Bye.
These people came to see some good violence. By golly, they're gonna see some. Yeah! Die, Cheesemo!
No, wait!